What's up, y'all? This is Blacklight. Um, Welcome back to my subscribers. Welcome aboard to my new subscribers. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Tonight I'm bringing y'all kind of an update story on the Rayshard Brooks story. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar or remember the story, but it was Rayshard Brooks who was found sleeping in a Wendy's parking lot, and officers tried to wake him up, and he come to find out, I guess he was intoxicated. He was celebrating a birthday or whatnot, and he got ended up getting into a tussle with officers in this Wendy's parking lot. And after the tussle, he ended up getting away, and while running away from officers, he was shot in the back twice, one center mass, which ended up killing Rayshard Brooks in this parking lot. And there was a really big thing, protest and everything. There, a Wendy's was the Wendy's that he was killed at was burnt down to the ground, protests and everything over the police killing him, shooting him in the back while he was running. But anyway, tonight I'm doing an update on the Rayshard Brooks story. 2 years later, decisions and everything were made on what should happen with the officers. So right now I'm going to share my screen. We're going to start off with the historical and work our way up to what transpired August 23rd of this year as far as what's happened with the officers. So we're going to start off with everything that happened to get you refreshed, because this has happened so many times. There's so many cases, so many police shooting black people. I mean, we just lose track. But I'm sure once we get into the footage, you most likely you'll remember the story. But I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget that I love for you guys to comment. I love your comments, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. I love your comments. Let me know what you think about the footage. Let me know what you think about the video. Let me know how you think things should be handled. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen now with you guys. We're gonna get into some video footage. Be patient with me while I get this going here. Okay, what was the first? Okay.
I said, babe, I'm hungry. Let's go.
Okay,
My baby's mom.
this is like the interaction. I didn't want to do the whole thing because so long, but this is like kind of like the first interaction. That this is Rayshard Brooks here, and he's talking to the officers. This is after they got him out of the car because he was sleeping. Now they're trying to do a series of sobriety tests or whatever or whatnot.
There, I said, babe, go ahead. Cool. Here's the money for the blow up bed tomorrow. Here's the money for, to enjoy herself tomorrow. You want to give me a burger or something to just take me home. I'm ready to go.
So you had about one and a half drinks. You don't remember what kind of drinks they were?
No, sir.
All right.
I really don't, Mr. Ross.
All right. I think you've had too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands on your back for me. Put your hands on your back.
Okay, so as I said, I could have played a little bit longer of that video, but pretty much they were giving him like sobriety tests, doing a finger test, making him walk and ask him a series of questions, and he was responding back to them. And then it led up to that, to where they were trying to arrest him. And then, as you see, they got into a tussle with him. And as you can see, he was running away from them. And then later on, we hear gunshots. But that video didn't really give a very clear depiction of what happened. I just wanted to give that, and now we're going to watch a better video, a outside view. I wanted to show that video because it was more like with the officers um camera, so it gave more of an inside look. But now we're going to take an outside look of what happened. So let me share my screen again. Once again, like the video, make comments, and let me share my screen again. My friends.
At 10:41 p.m. on June 12th, Officer Devin Brosnan of the Atlanta Police Department pulls into the Wendy's parking lot on University Avenue. He's just been dispatched to respond to a complaint of a man sleeping in his vehicle. 27-year-old Rayshard Brooks is asleep at the wheel, and his car is parked in the drive-thru, causing customers to drive around him. Officer Brosnan knocks on the driver's window several times.
You're parked in the drive-thru line. You're blocking traffic here. You were sleeping when I walked up here. What's up, man? You used to have a long day or something? What's up? All right, don't go back to sleep. Over there. Okay. All right. Thank you.
It's the beginning of an encounter that lasted about 40 minutes. He eventually goes back to Brooks to check on him.
Okay. How much did you drink tonight? How much? How much is how much? Wow, great. All right. Hey, give me your license on you real quick. All right.
Officer Brosnan contacts police dispatch.
Maybe available DUI certified officers working in the zone right now.
Officer Garrett Wolf has just pulled into the Wendy's parking lot, and Officer Brosnan fills him in. Officer Wolf approaches Brooks.
Hey, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks, how you doing? Hey, I'm Officer Rolf, the Atlanta Police Department. How you doing? I'm doing just fine.
At 11:03 p.m., Officer Wolf pats Brooks down to check whether he is armed. He is not. We
Okay,
fast
so they
forward
know
through the next few minutes, during which Brooks is asked to perform a series of sobriety field tests. Brooks is cooperative and responsive. Following the tests, Officer Wolf continues to ask Brooks how much he's had to drink and how he ended up in this parking lot. Brooks offers to leave his car and walk home.
I just don't want to be in violation of anybody. I can walk my sister's house right here.
Will you take a preliminary breath test for me? Yes or no?
I don't want to refuse anything.
now see now this is the part right here. Now I know that they don't have to do that, but why couldn't he have just let that man walk home? Why couldn't he have just let that man walk home? Like I don't get that. I mean, at this point, we already know that most likely he had too much to drink. He's volunteering to leave his vehicle there and walk home. His sister, or walk to his sister's house. His sister stayed right, close by. And if she didn't stay close by, she stayed miles away. If he was willing to walk, why couldn't he just let this man just go about his business and walk home?
Yes or no? It's completely up to you.
Yes, I will.
Okay, just wait here while I grab.
And I wouldn't, and that's the other thing. And I'm not, trying to speak on him or nothing like that because this man's deceased. But I don't know why he would sit there and tell that man that he would take a sobriety test. Like, you had something to drink. So why would you, first of all, why would you tell them you had something to drink? And then secondly, after you had something to drink, why would you submit to a sobriety test? When they ask you that, you do have the legal right to say no. And I believe he should exercise his right to say no at that time.
At 11:22 p.m., Brooks blows over the legal limit.
I think you've had too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands on your back for me.
So this is where we left that off, y'all, on the last video. This is exactly where we left off. So now we're gonna get like a more outside look of it and not the inside look of this video.
Hands on your back.
Wolf's body camera is not on. The two officers are on top of him. They continue to physically wrestle with Brooks. Brosnan takes out his taser and places it directly on Brooks's leg. A witness sitting in her car also captures the struggle between Brooks and the two officers who are trying to rescue.
Now, right here, y'all, now I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. Now, right here, and this is what everybody's saying, which makes sense. Now, right here in this instance, when he's in the middle of this tussle, I think we all can agree that this is very dangerous position for him to have put himself in, to where he's actually physically tussling with the police right now, especially since we know that they do like to shoot us and they do like to kill us. So right now he's absolutely 100% giving them a reason to shoot him or kill him right now in this situation, to be honest. Right now, they legally have that right, because they could be really like scared or in fear for their life right now in this particular situation.
Brooks grabs the taser out of Brosnan's hand. Brooks manages to break free. He's still holding the taser. Officer Wolf pulls out his taser and fires. A Wendys security camera captured the rest of the incident. It runs a few minutes behind the police footage and has no audio, but we synced it with the 5 other sources of video to understand what happened in this parking lot. Taser in hand, Wolf continues to chase Brooks. The taser wires are visible. Brosnan calls the dispatcher and runs after them. Brooks turns around, appears to fire the taser. Officer Wolf drops his taser, grabs his gun, and fires 3 shots as Brooks runs away from him.
Okay. Now that was the part that everybody was having the uproar about, and that we know isn't right. This was what the problem, this is what everybody was protesting about. It's not, okay, yes, you can be mad that that y'all got into a tussle or whatever like that. But at this point, when this man was running away from you, you were not in fear for your life. Your safety wasn't threatened. You had a gun. Both of y'all got guns, and he has a taser that's already been used, so it can't be used again. And then you shoot this man in the back 2 times while he's running away from you. So he posed absolutely no threat to them at that point.
Wolf runs over to Brooks, who is lying on the floor. Both officers stand over him. Brooks's arm is still moving. Wolf runs back to the car. He calls for help over his radio.
And notice they about to mention this, but when nobody giving this man no type of CPR or nothing like that, they could have saved this man's life. Did nobody? And that's one of the duties of an officer. When officers shoot you, if it's strictly just being professional and doing the job, they're not supposed to be happy or satisfied with something like that. Once they shoot you and get themselves out of harm's way, and they deleted the threat that you posed, then they are supposed to perform medical care and medical attention on you, which did not happen in this case.
He puts on a pair of gloves as witnesses break.
Right away, oh my God.
They should immediately, instead of standing there like that, they should have been immediately performing some type of medical something on this man while you standing there waiting for it to be too late.
Since Brooks was shot, and the other officers standing near him have not yet provided medical assistance. Officer Wolf runs back to Brooks with a bag in hand. In the next few minutes, they will apply what appears to be bandages. Another officer holding Brosnan's body.
What the hell is a bandage going to do to a bullet? You need to be doing CPR or something like that. What is a bandage going to do? And you put 2 bullets in this man? Come on now.
Captures officers performing CPR on Brooks a few minutes later.
A few minutes later. Do you know how long a few minutes is in a situation
The
like
ambulance
that?
arrives shortly after.
So as we just saw, so like I said, when the tussling was going on, anybody would be able to argue and say legally right now, we didn't know what was going on. He was grabbing tasers. We didn't know if he was going to try to grab for our guns. So, we was in fear for our life. We felt threatened, whatever. So we shot him in that moment. Okay. Not too many people can really argue with that. I mean, even when I watched it while he's tussling with them, I'm scared for myself in that situation. I'm like, now that's a dangerous spot to be, like tussling with them, and then they get the best of you, and then they shoot you. I mean, ain't nothing too much. Nobody can really argue with that. But the point of the fact that he tussled with them, then got away, and then was trying to run away, not still trying to charge after them, not still trying to fight. The whole purpose of him getting into that tussle with them in the first place was because he was trying to get away. It wasn't that he was trying to beat them up, assault them, or cause them harm. The whole purpose of him tussling with them was because he wanted to resist arrest. I mean, if you want to break it down, he was resisting arrest and he was trying to flee arrest. He wasn't trying to assault an officer. He wasn't trying to fight with them. He wasn't trying to beat them up. He pretty much was just trying to get away. That's what he was doing. And so once he accomplished getting away from them, then they shot him in the back. So that's what the where the issue lies. I'm about to share this other video. Let me see here. Y'all, once again, please please give me some comments on this thread, y'all. Don't make my thread boring. Give me some comments. Give me some comments, y'all. Give me some comments. Okay, so let me see.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is, okay, hold on. So this is going to be right here. Okay, let me stop real quick so I can explain what's going on. So the next video we about to watch, this is after everything has taken place. They've decided that they're going to bring charges against the officers or whatnot. So this is directly after the shooting happened, when people were protesting, upset or whatnot. And so what we're about to watch now is what happened after what happened. So y'all gonna watch this with me, and we're gonna watch this.
This photograph, we'll see that the positions of both parties, they've changed. Mr. Brooks has now moved away from his original position, and we estimate the distance is probably about 12 feet. And Officer Roth has moved about 10 feet from the position in what is our exhibit number 1. The second video or second still shows the very instant that the shot was fired into the back of.
Okay, yeah. In this, they're going to say why they decided to charge the officers with his death. So that's what we're watching now. This is right after. This isn't the update. The update's going to be coming up with what actually happened, but this is when the charges first were charged, when they're explaining why they decided to charge these officers with his death.
Mr. Brooks. And we have also calculated the distance, and the distance that they are apart at that time was 18 feet 3 inches at the time that the shot was fired. So based upon that information, we have concluded that Mr. Brooks was running away at the time that the shot was fired. Mr. Brooks was shot twice in the back. One of the shots was a center shot to the back that penetrated his heart, and it was done by a 9mm Glock. Now, one of the things that we also relied upon in our conclusion is something that is called under the law referred to as an excited utterance, and that's when someone makes an immediate statement, and because it is made without the ability to consult with counsel or to think about it, under the law, an excited utterance is considered as highly reliable. And at the time that the shot was fired, the utterance made by Officer Roth was, "I got it." That was the statement that was made at that time. We also noted that Officer Roth was firing a taser at Mr. Brooks. The City of Atlanta SOPs, in fact, prohibit officers from firing tasers at someone who is running away.
Now y'all check that out. Now y'all hear what he just said. Now, according to the Atlanta Police Department policy, they are not supposed to even fire a taser at someone who's running away. That's why they have the charges called evading an arrest, fleeing the scene. That's why they have those um, as criminal acts because people run away, people get away. And so that's why they have those on the books to where you can charge people with that because that happens where people can get away. So, according to the Atlanta Police Department policy, if someone's running away from them, they're not even supposed to try to tase the individual.
So the city of Atlanta says you cannot even fire a taser at someone who's running away. So you certainly can't fire a handgun at someone who is running away. So in addition to our findings, as many of you all already know, that the Atlanta mayor, Mayor Keisha Bottoms, and the police department concluded that Officer Ross' actions were excessive and in violation of APD's SOP. That's an SOP, I believe it's 4.1.1. And after their analysis that the actions were excessive, Officer Ross was fired.
Okay, so now, so far, y'all, we've seen the footage of what happened with Rayshard Brooks, so that way now y'all know exactly what the case is about, what happened. If you didn't remember, it's a refreshment. So anyway, they ended up firing him under the guidance of Keisha Lance Bottom, which the mayor of the city of Atlanta, right? And so I'm not going to play the video of this, which I could. But anyway, after he ended up getting fired, he ended up going before a board or whatnot, and they actually end up giving him his job back. So they ended up giving him his job back, even though they said that he violated policy, he went against policy. They ended up giving this man his job back. And this isn't the first time. I actually made another video talking about Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottom, how, all these people are in the same bed together. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was these two teens who got beat up. They was driving down the street, went the wrong way. The police pulled them out the car. These were like two college kids. Not that it matter if you're in college or not. I mean, abuse is abuse. But I'm just saying, they think they went to Morehouse, and then they both were black students who went to historically black colleges, good grades, come from an upper middle class family. Not that any of this is relevance. I'm just setting the stage because just to show that it can happen to anybody. It don't matter. Anyway, the police officers, I mean, it's on video. I should play the video of that. But anyway, I'm talking about they broke these kids' windows out, pulled the girl out the car, beat them up and everything. And then she fired them too and ended up letting them get their job back. So what it seems to me is a pattern with her is that she wants on the forefront, want to look good like she did something by firing them, and then they ended up getting their job back. And one of the excuses that they used especially in the case with the kids, the reason why they got their job back is because she didn't properly terminate them. And in the video that I did, and I talked about this, I said, you're not going to tell me that her as a mayor, she doesn't know how you properly fire somebody. And so in the video that I did, I said she's leaving them a legal loophole to use so that they can get their jobs back. On the forefront to the community, she's trying to make it seem like she's doing something, like I'm for the people, I'm fighting against police. But then on the same token, anybody that she firing them, they always getting their job back because she's leaving a legal loophole for them to be able to use to get their job back. But anyway, like I said, at the beginning of the video, this happened at Wendys, as you can see, and now we're going to see what happened as far as with protests and that Wendys. And then we're going to go into the decision that happened concerning this case and some more details of why they came about the decision that they came about. So this is the actually Wendy's where Rayshard Brooks is at. And I actually went to this Wendy's after it was burnt down. Like I was at work and they had on news, they're like, it's a Wendy's over in East Point burning down, it's caught on fire. And I actually went to this actual parking lot. So I've been actually on this parking lot. I've actually seen this burnt down Wendy's. I didn't go while the fire was going on, but I went like that week and seen how it was, and they had like teddy bears and candles and everything out there honoring Rayshard Brooks. They had like it outlined where the shooting actually took place, and his family and everything was out there, and but this is the Wendy's where it happened at, and people was pissed because they like, you shot this man in the back. You don't shoot somebody in the back. And and that's not the fire. That's just a little spark right now. I'm talking about when I say they burnt it down, I'm talking about burnt down. And now it's just like a plot, like the owners or whatever, they decided that they didn't want to rebuild it or anything like that. So now they cleaned it up, got rid of the building, the debris and everything, and it's just a blank lot at this point. So yeah. So okay, so allegedly his white girlfriend was the one who started the fire or whatnot, and she had two accomplices or something like that. I don't know. Allegedly, she's the one responsible for catching the Wendy's on fire. She's actually caught on camera doing something inside the video. We don't know exactly what it was, but we do know that when they seen this white woman inside this building, leaning into the window and stuff and going inside this building, they did find out that this white woman was Rayshard Brooks' girlfriend or whatnot. So we don't know if what it was, what I'm saying? Like I said, allegedly. So that's what it's going that's where we're gonna stick that at. But yeah, so they burnt that Wendy's down um for protest. So now let's go ahead and get into the update now. After all of that, so we got the footage of them shooting this man in the back while he was trying to run away. Then we come to the point to where these officers were fired because they did violate police policy. You're not even supposed to shoot somebody in the back with a taser if they're running away from you, let alone a gun. So they were fired. Then he asked for his job back. In fact, I can show you the screen of that. Well, he asked for his job back. He ended up getting his job back. And so now what took place yesterday was past the job. This was like the criminal part of the criminal court to see what the courts had to say about it. So let's go ahead and watch the little, find out what happened. I'm gonna share my screen again with y'all friends. That's what I call my subscribers. I call my subscribers friends because we talk about stuff, y'all. I want y'all to comment and talk to me. Let me know what y'all think. Okay, about to go in here.
And it was obviously based upon the facts and circumstances as had been laid out to all of us. There was no validity in that arrest. And as a result of that, no grand jury, because Gerald and I were just talking, grand jury would indict a ham sandwich. In fact, it could be a sandwich without ham. These are meaning well people, but they don't know when they're not versed in the law.
And I want to talk a little bit more.
So as y'all see at the bottom of the screen, the charges were dropped against the officers. Charges dropped. See that? Okay, charges dropped against the officers. So we're gonna leave it there and we're gonna listen to them, and then I'm gonna give a couple comments at the end of this.
About the law, it seems one of the issues that seems to have with people who see this case is the latitude that police have. But when we're talking about the law gives them that latitude. For example, with the taser in the hands of a police officer is not considered a deadly weapon. But as they said in the hands of a person who's not trained, it can be deadly. So legally speaking, are we saying that investigators followed the letter of the law and this was appropriate?
What we're saying is that at the time this took place, one officer had a concussion. He had been tased, dry tased. The other officer had been hit. They both had been brutalized by a man that they thought was a threat. They had both been injured. Aggravated assault, which is a felony that he had committed after he was just not being arrested. He didn't want to be after they tried to arrest him, tried to put his hands behind his back and handcuff him. Then he became a threat. He committed a felony. He had a taser. He used the taser. Whether or not these officers in the moment, and this is what all of us have to remember, it's in the moment. Whether they thought this taser, oh wait, it's been fired twice. You don't think that way. You've got to protect yourself and you've got to protect the community. They didn't.
Okay, so this is my thing though. So that's what I say about them. And I say this over and over and over and over again. And I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying, okay, I'm trying to wait to the end to my commentary. But I'll say this over and over and over again. We can see stuff, watch stuff with our own eyes. And then it's crazy how something can be wrong, but then they can make it right. These officers violated proper police protocol as per the Atlanta Police Department, stating that if someone is fleeing, if someone is running from you, you are not to deploy your taser, and you're not supposed to even deploy your taser, let alone shoot them. Like, you can go get their handbook and look it up. Like, that's their policy. We've heard it stated on here. So why now is an exception? That's why I don't like, one of the main things I don't like about our justice system is that we have to put our faith in people that will twist and bend the rules however they want to twist and bend the rules in their favor. You can look at something and say, okay, this is wrong, but because the dominant society has the right to say that it's right even when it's wrong, then when they say it's right, when they say it's justifiable, when they say it's okay, then everybody else just has to follow suit and say, well, they said that it was okay. They said it was right. They said it was justifiable. And so then everybody else just fall in line, whether you think it's justifiable or not think, but if it's not justifiable, if it's not right, if it's exactly wrong, then you still supposed to just go along with it. And then this is something else that that you're going to hear me say a lot in these videos. A lot of times they say, Don't burn down stuff. Don't burn down stuff. Take it to the court. Be verbal. We got to talk about this. We got to speak out about this. When you're going to court and you're saying I've been done wrong, or I think that this is wrong, this is illegal. In this particular law, it says that this is the law, and you trying to stand on the law, and you're putting the law in their face, and then they still don't go by it, and they still say, well, whatever actions this person did, we're making an exception for them. And this particular circumstance, or for this particular person, those rules, those laws, those policies, um, those policies don't have to be executed or lived up to or followed because we decided to make a new policy more or less on the spot, or we decided to make a new rule right here on the spot and to change it. And that's just one of the major things that I do not like, the fact that you have to go and then you ask them, you try to do the right thing. And then when people go out and burn stuff and riot and do all these other things, people say, well, you should talk about it. You should have took them to court. You should, okay, that is the verbal. When you're going to court, that is verbal. That's trying to go about the right way. That's talking about it. That's discussing it. And then after you talk about it and discuss it, and then you still don't get justice or the law is not upheld, and then what do you do? And I'm not justifying violence or anything, but I definitely understand why people take it to that level like that. But we're going to go ahead and finish watching what else they have to say in this video.
Should have done. This was the right thing to do. I'm just sorry for the victim who died. I am really sorry for what these two officers had to go through.
Okay, let's go back to 2020 just briefly here. There was a lot going on. We had George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, all those different elements happening. And with this particular case, Paul Howard, he was running for office again, running for re-election during that time. Former Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms came out, and I believe, if I recall, she said that those officers should be tried for murder. She had said that they were guilty of what they did. Do you think that that had any influence at all in the DA pushing this forward? Did he push it too soon? Mr. Griggs, what do you think?
Well, it may have had an influence on the district attorney, but it didn't have an influence on the magistrate court judge who issued the warrant for probable cause for murder. So, I hear what everybody's saying, and the rule of law should still apply. And in this case, a man was shot in his back. I heard the mental gymnastics they were going through to try to justify him being shot in his back. But he was being shot in his back as he was running away from police with a non-lethal weapon. As a matter of law, a taser is not a lethal weapon. So he posed no threat at the time that he was shot. Now, if Mr. Brooks had been shot while he was wrestling with Officer Brosnan, or he had just taken his weapon and was using the weapon on him, at that point, I could see some justification there. But in this particular case, it should have been presented to a grand jury for the citizens of Fulton County to make a decision, because now you have two prosecutors making two wholly inconsistent decisions. The law has to be clear. The decision has to be clear. I still think it needs to be presented to a grand jury, and there's still two more bites at the apple because there is no statute of limitations on murder, so these charges can be brought back.
We heard Scandalakis talking about the fact that he was potentially a threat to people and to police officers. So is it arguable that those officers, had they let him go, had they not chased him, that they could have faced any kind of legal repercussions because this man could have potentially been a threat to others?
Well, at the point he was running away, he was not a threat to anyone else. He did not have a lethal weapon. He was running away. They could have radioed in. They could have helicoptered in. They could have boxed him in. He actually told them where he was going. He wanted to go to see his daughter who just had a birthday, which was a few streets over. And so they knew where he was going. They had his license. So they could have found him. But to shoot him in the back twice, that doesn't sit well with individuals running away.
You know, what's interesting for me, I'm trying to be the objective person in the middle, being a journalist, but being a former police officer out of Oakland, California back in the day, and a sergeant as well in the 80s and 90s. If I'm in that moment that you talked about, if I'm in that moment and I see that my partner's down, he's dazed, he's stumbling around, he's injured, and the suspect is trying to tase me at the same time, back in the 80s and 90s, I would believe that my supervisor would call that a justifiable shooting. Fast forward to 2020, I know the circumstances have changed and justification has changed as well. But as an officer in the moment, within those 17 seconds, that is a lot to process. a lot to process, knowing that my partner's injured and knowing that the suspect may have my partner's taser at the same time.
But 46 minutes of a peaceful interaction was only when they attempted to arrest him. And again, if they had used that force when they were actually arresting him, I would agree. But at the point he was shot in his back twice as he was running away with a weapon that was not functional, I have a serious
Come on,
issue
Gerald,
with
you
that.
know that, but who knew that weapon was not
Both
functional?
those police officers
But they
had been
didn't
trained.
know that.
They had been trained on how to
You know
use
what?
the taser.
You get down there, you get in the moment, and don't be a lawyer for a second. Be a regular person.
If I'm a
Take
regular
away
person,
this.
if I'm a regular person, I shoot somebody in the back, I'm charged with murder.
If you're a
Right.
regular person, you would have said,
Period.
okay,
I've been charged with murder.
sorry, I disagree.
Well, and I want to jump in there really quickly because we are talking about police officers, and when it comes to the law, police officers.
Okay. So once again, that's what I said. They always want to bend the rule and bend the law or whatever whenever it suits them. So that's pretty much the update. So these officers, the charges were dropped. They initially were put up for murder charges for Rayshard Brooks for shooting him in the back. I do not. Y'all can let me know what y'all think. Give me y'all's opinion, y'all. Give me y'all opinion. What y'all think about it? Do y'all think that it was justifiable for these officers to shoot him in his back when he was running away? Did he pose a threat at that time, or was it just flat out wrong for them? And we're not getting into no racial thing like black or white discrimination or nothing that. Just the fact that this man was running away when he was shot in the back 2 times, was that justifiable? What do you think? And it does, and in my opinion, it don't matter that they got into a fight, they got into a scuffle. Put all that to the side. Go from the part of him running away. At that point, did he cause a threat? Did he deserve to be shot in the back? Forget about the fighting and the tussling part and him resisting arrest. At the point after the tussle, when he was running away, did the officer, do y'all think that he posed a threat, friends? Do y'all think he posed a threat at that point? And how do you think that this should have been handled? But anyway, once again, friends, this is Black Light. I just wanted to share this video with y'all, give y'all my opinions on it, give y'all this update with Rayshard Brooks. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video if you can. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. This is Black Light, and I'm out. Until the next time, friends. Thank you very much for watching.